Hello everyone, welcome to Caffeinate Math. This video is brought to you by Oslo because I recently went dog sledding way up in northern Norway, right about there. And it was absolutely beautiful. I mean, check out that sky. Okay, and I also have some video to show you. Okay, watch. The two closest dogs, the one on the left is Darth, and the one on the right is Vader. I'm not kidding you. And watch. They totally fought like that for the first 15 minutes or so of our run. It was so funny. Anyway, afterwards, we went back and we learned all about the care of the animals, what they eat, how much they exercise, how much they poop, how far they run. And I was thinking all about the logistics and the math that it would take to run that place. So I thought, let's run some numbers and we'll learn some math in connection with dog sledding. So today is all about dividing fractions. But before we begin, we need to quickly review how to multiply fractions. Now remember, there's two ways to do it, but I'll just review one of them today. We'll start by watching a quick clip from the multiplying fractions video. All right, let's go. Okay, now here's another approach. This time, I'm actually going to simplify first. It's called cross-simplifying because I kind of have to look sideways to see fractions. See that? It's 3/12. And if I reduce that, it would be 1/4. Okay, so back in my problem, the 3 becomes a 1 and the 12 becomes a 4 when we reduce them. Let's check the other way. Can 1/5 be reduced? No. So now we're on to step 2. Now we get to multiply straight across. The numerators first, we've got 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, now that we reviewed multiplying fractions, we'll dive into dividing fractions. Basically, you just have to remember a 3-step process. Step number 1, get both numbers into the form of a over b, which means you may need to turn mixed numerals into improper fractions. For example, 1.5, you'd need to write it as 3/2. You also might have to put whole numbers over 1. So instead of just writing 3, you'd write 3/1. Step number 2 is to flip the second fraction. Do not flip the first one. The flipped fraction is called the reciprocal of the first. So if we have 3/5 and we flip it, we get 5/3. 5/3 is the reciprocal of 3/5. Step number 3 is just multiply as usual. So let's try it out. Our first problem will be 2 3/4 divided by 3/8. Now step number 1 is to get both numbers into the form of a over b. 2 3/4 is a mixed numeral, so we need to change that to an improper fraction. So we get 11/4. 3/8, that looks good for now. Step 2 is to flip the second fraction. So that's 3/8. 3/8 becomes 8/3. 8/3 is the reciprocal of 3/8. And the last step is just to multiply as usual. So let's cross cancel first. Let's see, 4 and 8 are both divisible by 4. So the 4 becomes a 1, the 8 becomes a 2, and then we just multiply straight across. 11 times 2 is 22, 1 times 3 is 3. So 22/3, or 7 1/3. That's not too bad, right? So let's go back to the dogs and see how we would use this in a dog sledding organization. One thing we learned was that these dogs eat a lot. Now we've got these bags of dog food that are 9 3/4 pounds each. Now each dog gets a 1/2 pound of dog food per meal. So the question is, how many meals does each bag of dog food provide? So we need to take the whole bag of dog food, 9 3/4 pounds, and divide it by the portion size, 1/2 pound. First step is to get both numbers into the form of a over b. So we need to turn 9 3/4 into an improper fraction. We get 39/4, and the 1/2, that gets to stay the same. Second step is to flip the second fraction. So 39 over 4 stays, and 1/2 becomes 2 over 1. And the third step is just to multiply as usual. So we'll see if we can cross cancel anything. Yep, 4 and 2 are both divisible by 2. The 4 becomes a 2, the 2 becomes a 1, and we multiply straight across to get 39 over 2, or 19.5. So we know that each bag of dog food is the equivalent of 19.5 meals. But here's the thing. This particular organization had 39 dogs. So now we wonder, how many bags of dog food will they need each day to feed these 39 dogs, both breakfast and dinner? So we've got 39 dogs twice a day, that's 78 meals. And we need to divide that by how many portions are in each bag, 19.5. And now we just go back to our steps. Step 1 is to get both numbers into the form of A over B. So we've got now 78 over 1, and 19.5 was 39 over 2. Step 2 is to flip the second fraction. So 78 over 1 stays the same, and 39 over 2 becomes 2 over 39. And then step 3, multiply as usual. Let's see if we can cross cancel. Oh, yes, 78 and 39 are both divisible by 39. That's convenient. So 78 becomes 2, 39 becomes a 1. Multiplying straight across, we get 4 over 1, or 4 bags of dog food. 4 bags of dog food every day to feed 39 dogs. I don't even want to know how much that costs. But thank you for joining me and Darth and Vader as we explored how to divide fractions. I hope you enjoyed the scenes of Norway and a bit of my latest adventure. Keep in mind, to divide fractions, you just have to remember the 3 steps. First, get both numbers in the form of A over B. Step 2, flip the second fraction. And step 3, multiply as usual. I'll see you next time.